I almost caught my hair on fire this week. And no, this is not clickbait. My husband and I decided to try ear candling. Yes, lighting actual candles. And yes, putting them near my head, in my ear. And yes, I questioned my life choices halfway through, only fear the mere point that I'm going tomorrow to speak at Purdue University, and the chances of my hair catching on fire were quite high at this point in time. And at one point, I was genuinely concerned that my hair was just gonna poof go up in flames. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be like this bald, singed haired girl going to speak and having to be like, yeah, that's a story I want to tell you about. And I remember thinking in my head, why am I doing this? And honestly, that question sums up this entire episode. Welcome back to Struggle and Strength, Mom's Balancing It All with Nikki. If you're new here, I'm Nikki. I'm a mom of three, full-time professional, entrepreneur at heart, and someone who believes that sometimes growth starts with doing something that feels just a little uncomfortable. Today, it's just me, no guests, no teaching, just real conversation about change, trying something new, and how sometimes the smallest shifts can completely change the way your family feels. I apologize. My dog is in the background barking at something loud. So, back to the ear candling. I did this once about 20 years ago, and I remember thinking that it was pointless. Like, I tried it, nothing came out. I didn't see any results. So I thought, "Ugh, what a bunch of hokey pokey." And I think it's because we just weren't doing it right. I was standing up, like they were angled, and there's a process to it. I understand. Fast forward to now, every time I shower at night and every time I come out, I use a Q-tip every single day. And I kept thinking to myself, like, what if I'm actually shoving the earwax back into my ear rather than getting it out? Because I don't usually see a whole lot on there, which apparently means that I've been packing earwax into my ears for years now. And I mean, like, I've been using Q-tips in my ears pretty much my whole entire life, every single time that I shower. So I thought, you know what? Why not try it again? Like, I'm feeling this kind of like watery wetness in my ear. I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I should try ear candling again. And this time, it actually worked. Now, I know there's things out there that say that when you do the earwax candling, the stuff that's in there is actually just beeswax melted, but clearly, okay, there's a difference between the look and the feel of the beeswax versus what came out of the candle, which actually was the packed earwax from my ear. Okay, because there's a certain color to your earwax. It's like a ambery, like orangey, dark brown kind of color. And I can definitely tell you that is what is in my ear. And if you're eating, I am so sorry. Explaining to you this gross earwax that was coming out. I'm actually infatuated by it. I want to see. So when we take out the candles, I'm like looking like, and I did it on my husband too. And so I'm saying like, "Ooh, what does it look like? How much was in there?" It's just like, yeah, I won't go into other gross things that I do, but my kids, I'm like, "Hey, come look at this." And they were so amazed by it. Now, nothing like that bothers me, but if it bothers you, I completely apologize. But so, this wasn't some magical, like life changing thing that happened, but it was enough to make me stop and think. Like maybe I dismissed something too quickly just because it didn't work the first time. And maybe I didn't even do it right the first time. And how many things in our lives do we do that with? I mean, I know for sure if something doesn't work, I'm like, screw that. Like, I'm not going to use it or I'm not going to do that ever again. And then it's like I shut it off. But then you really would kind of want to get deep down into, well, did I do it right? Did I follow the directions? And was I like, I think back then when I did the ear candle, I lit it for maybe like a minute or so. I mean, these earwax candles that we had, they were sophisticated. They had this little silver thing on them that told you, like, here's the top of the plate where you want to have the fire go to. And then they had this like little aluminum plate or something that you put, it was just like a paper plate, whatever, but it looked like it was aluminum because it had the silver shield on it. And you put that at the bottom of this little silver indicator on the candle. And that, one, protects your ear from anything dropping into it. And two, it also protects from the heat as well. And so the ones that I remember that I did 10, 20 years ago didn't have anything like that. Didn't even have a line to tell you where to go to. So I feel like this one was a lot safer and actually had instructions. Whereas the other one, as I mentioned, it was standing up, it was angled, and I didn't have any lines. And so we only lit it for like maybe a minute or two. This one actually took about 5 to 10 minutes to burn. It went really quick at the very end, but it was kind of slow at the beginning. And so thinking about that, that thought followed me straight into the biggest change that we've made this year, which, I just talked about blowing something off too quickly because it didn't work the first time. And that's that we started the kids at a new school, which, oh my goodness. My daughter, I believe she's only 10 and she's been to like 9 different schools. Bless her heart for not being so angry with us as parents. But it's just, it's so hard to find the right fit. And you've got to think about it this way. Your kids are going to school for how long each day? You drop them off before 8 o'clock. You pick them up after 3:30. So that's right there. That's that's 7, almost 8 hours that they're at school all day long for 5 days a week. So that's not something that I want to take lightly, just throwing them in a school and just hoping that they survive. And if I'm being honest, I hesitated a lot about this decision because we've been to so many different schools and because on the outside and on paper, all of these schools look great. And it starts off in that honeymoon phase where change is good and it's great and everything it's like you love each other, and then you find out the hidden things that are going on and you don't love it anymore. And that's where we were at our previous school. We were in a point where my kids absolutely love school. They're weird in the summer times. They're like, "Mommy, when do we get to go back to school? I want to learn. I want to see my friends." Okay, I get it. I have weird kids. But I love that about them, that they are so motivated and driven. They love to do their homework. They love to get good grades. Like, they love all of that. They strive for it. And they came to me and said, "Mommy, can we be homeschooled? I don't want to be at school anymore." And that right there was very concerning to me. So I thought, I have to do something. I have to find some other school, or I have to actually homeschool them, which I was not very thrilled about doing because one, I have a full-time job. Two, I'm trying to build my business on the side. So I have zero extra time. And on top of that, am I capable of teaching them? Well, I do it in the summertime, so I'm not worried about that. But I just do life lessons. I don't do the history, the English, the science, the math. I can do those things. However, not very good at English or history, science, and math. I think I have that one taken. But when my kids ask me, "Mommy, what's a preposition?" and I'm like, I don't know. Please tell me. I kind of doubt whether or not I'm the best person that should be teaching them about English. And so, anyways, when I found this new school, I was excited, but I was also really nervous. Another change in schools. It was a longer drive, and I hesitate on that because my life is so busy. I don't want to have to spend an hour driving here and there and everywhere. And it was also a different philosophy. I mean, very similar to what we were just at. It's classical. We were just at a classical school. I love that. No technology. We were at a no technology school. I love that. But it's small. Right now they're growing. And on top of that, it is religious based, which we've never done before. And we are Catholic, but we are not very good Catholics in the sense that we don't technically go every week. And I know that's a sin. And we have to definitely beg for God's forgiveness during confession about that. But at the same time, we do prayers and things like that in order to be faithful and religious, but we're just not overly religious about things. And that's totally fine. To each their own. We believe in God. We believe in the teachings, the Bible, all of that. I just wasn't really raised in a strict Catholic family, and so I'm not used to going every weekend, and I don't necessarily enforce it either. But I try my best to have them go, and we do. They've all been baptized and first communions, and anyways, we're well on our way. But the entire focus of this school is not totally on the religion. And there was a school that's really like a stone throw away from our house that I really wanted the kids to go to. But because my boys are young on the younger side and our previous private school allowed them to advance, this Christian school said that they could not offer advanced academics, which to me, a private school, like, isn't that what you're there for? You can do whatever you want. But they refused. And so this new school that I found, they have the philosophy that if your child is excelling in an area, let's say like math or reading, and they are well beyond their students and need something else, they will just put them in the next level class and allow them to be taught. Isn't that phenomenal? I've been looking for a school like that that doesn't hold them back because they are ahead. It actually allows them to go into another room with older kids or younger kids if need be, and go at the level at which they are comfortable and can learn and grow and get them interested and motivated, not put them in a space where it doesn't allow them to grow. And so the entire focus for this school is on discovering the child's soul. They went back and they researched every single level of what kids need at every grade. And they really researched what the purpose of school was and found out that the way that it has been working is that school is just preparing our children to go into the workplace. And they thought that is not what the intentions of school were way back in the day. So they thought, you know what? We want this to be a place where the child can discover their soul, where they can really figure out who they are, what they want to do, turn them into leaders, creators. And after hearing that, I knew this was the right school. That was during their parent orientation when I heard all of their philosophy. And I was like, oh my gosh, I made the right decision, thankfully. And I can tell you, after 3 days of them going to school, I know that this is our forever school because the kids love it. They feel seen. They feel calm. They feel grounded. And so do I. I absolutely love it. Now, it's a school where they do block scheduling. They don't have to go to school every day a week. So I love that too. They're home with me a couple of days. They get to go to school a couple of days. There's like barely any homework when they come home. They do most of it in school. Yes, the drive is longer. And no, it's not my quick 15 minutes, round trip. But what we've gained is peace and clarity. And I feel like we're getting back into who we really are. And our home feels different now. There's less rushing, less yelling, less tension. Last night was the daddy-daughter dance. And so the boys and I stayed home for mommy-son time. And I was, of course, downstairs on my computer preparing for my trip this week. And I told them, okay, go upstairs and pick a movie. And when I got up there, they couldn't find anything that they liked. And we were looking on Amazon Prime. And we came across this one. Eli said, I want to watch this. It's called The Chosen Adventures. And I was like, sure. Okay. And I was like, this is not anything on what I expected them to pick. I mean, they've only been to school 3 days and they're already wanting to watch TV shows about Jesus and his teachings. But this was more of like a cartoon and it was cute and it was so funny. There's this little sheep in it and it was so cute and hilarious. And I realized something that when you choose alignment over convenience, everything slows down. The kids are better. I'm better. We are better. They're choices. This past week, I usually woke up and I would make their lunches for them. And this past week, they are waking up on time on their own. They are making their entire lunches by themselves. I don't have to do any of it except I've been making their water bottles, but that is it. So here's what I want you to think about. We're so conditioned to keep things the same because change feels hard. We stay in situations that drain us because they're familiar. We avoid trying new things because the first time it didn't work. And we convince ourselves that discomfort means danger. But what if discomfort is just an invitation? What if the thing that you are resisting is actually the thing that brings more peace into your life? And this is huge in business. And when you're starting a new business, you get this uncomfortable feeling. And every day the imposter syndrome sets in, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, why am I doing this? I should just give up. No one's going to listen to me. I don't have anything to offer. But that's just fear. That's the discomfort coming in and trying to change your path to the one that you've been used to that isn't working. I can tell you that our family was falling apart because every single day the kids were going to school for 8 hours. And after school, we had so many activities that they were gone until almost 9 o'clock every night. And then when they came home, it was dinner and then bath and bedtime. But they weren't going to bed until 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock. And then wash, rinse, repeat, going on day after day after day. And we were exhausted. And then on the weekends, it was like 5 soccer games, 2 tennis matches, so much chaos every single day, diving, soccer. And I can tell you, we were dying on the inside. Because you know what? Our souls couldn't breathe. We didn't even get to see each other, let alone enjoy each other's company. And so we were constantly at edge. The kids were fighting, my husband and I were fighting. Like it was just nonstop fights because we were drained, we're exhausted, looking for relief. And if there's one thing I can tell you, is that this new change in our lives, it gives us peace. I don't have to feel rushed. I'm not angry all the time because we're go, 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 and I don't have enough time for anything. And I finally feel like we have great connection with each other. The kids are so excited to come home and tell us about their new school, tell us about all the things that are going on. They're even they're studying astronomy, and my middle child is just loving it, eating up every single moment that he's in that class, coming home, looking through books that they've never even looked through just to make sure that they can see. We have like an astronomy book that they can see what they're learning in class and apply it. Change can be good. And this year has already taught me something important. That new does not always mean harder. Different does not always mean wrong. And growth does not have to be loud. Sometimes it looks like a longer drive. And sometimes it looks like trying something again. And sometimes it looks like choosing what feels right instead of what feels easy. Sure, we could have kept them at the same school. My round trip was 15 minutes. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, when I have to take my daughter to diving, I was having to sit in their car line for 2 hours just so that I could be first in line to pick her up. That's 2 hours now I don't have to waste of my day, 2 days a week. And yes, their school was good. It was free, let me tell you. Now we're having to pay for school. So it was really easy, a great choice. had so many good things, but the kids were losing themselves in it. They lost their confidence. They lost their ability to make real, meaningful connections with kids. They lost their love for school. And who knows what would have happened if we would have stayed? I don't want them to grow up and not want to learn. I am constantly learning every single day. I'm like needing all this education and information. I'm always educating myself, reading, studying new things, learning new things, because that's how you grow in life. It's all about the experience. And I used to take the kids when they were very, very little to everything and anything I could find on the weekends, weekdays. If it was free and it was available, we were there. We were going to like 5 and 6 events every Saturday and Sunday, and sometimes during the week. My husband's like, can we please not do anything today? But the kids loved it. They experienced so much in that little time that we had. Because whether that was going to the zoo or going to the library or experiencing some event somewhere or going and doing activities or going to the park or whatever it was, they experienced it. Now, they may not remember that right now, but that has taught them, one, how to behave in public, two, about learning new things, three, some of the things could have been scary, like going down bouncy houses or, going across the monkey bars or all kinds of different things that kids need to experience. Because if they don't experience these risks when they're young and the consequences are low, think about when they have to experience something scary and they're in middle school or high school. They're going to close down, right? They're going to be terrified that they don't want to do it. So here's my question for you. What's the one thing you've been afraid to try again? Or one change you've been putting off because it feels inconvenient? Or one thing that you notice that's not going right, that you know that there's an answer to, you're just hesitant to do it? Maybe this is your season to try. New year, new school, new us. So if this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to share it with another mom who might need permission to choose peace over routine. You're not behind. You're just becoming.